3,
2, 1.
1.
You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Mick, Alex, I Yield to No One,
Steve,
And
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Horse. This is episode 564. I'm your host, Tricky Mick. Alongside with me, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Alex.
I was really hoping that the Grinnellis would be back this week. Oh well. Welcome back, Tricky.
Thank you. He brings the awesome. It's I Yield to No One.
so before we get too far down the rabbit hole,
Uh-oh.
we're going to do some live reaction theater, because we are live on Twitch, yes?
We are live on Twitch.
Okay, so the Twitch people may not get this right away. But, gentlemen, you two have your phones with you, yes?
Yes.
I can't live without having my phone next to me.
All right, hold on here. Let me find the text group.
I am a millennial after all.
There we go. I think technically I am, but I don't claim to be. All right, gentlemen.
Were you born before 1980?
Oh, nope. Okay, I'm not a millennial.
You
All
are-
right, gentlemen,
no,
you will be getting a picture.
If you were born before 1980, I could... no, if you were born after 91, I think you're a millennial.
I'm pretty sure I'm a millennial and I was 84.
I thought I muted my phone, but apparently...
Now, why the fuck would somebody go and do that nonsense? What happened? Why is this the truck, one side of their truck bed completely off?
That looks like what I do during a snow route.
Mean when you hit cars with a snowplow?
Absolutely. Wow.
What happened? What would cause this? Did someone wrap it around like a pole and that pole rip the
Hold on a second.
side of the car off?
Hold on a second. I have to ask the important question. Is the person okay, Yield?
Yeah.
Is that your truck?
That was my truck.
Well, I'm sorry that you drove a Dodge. Let's just put that out there.
Hey, man, that thing lasted me 19 years.
And now what the hell did you do?
Well, you should be getting another picture.
This is fantastic radio, but
wow.
we need to post these somewhere for... So I was right, it was a pole.
Yeah, it was a pole.
I have to ask, did you just I see snow on the ground, did you just slide off the road?
Yeah. Well, without getting into too much detail, because we are recording, the rear end chased the front end.
So you fishtailed.
Well, I didn't know there was no fishtailing.
Were you the only person in the car?
Yeah, I was going to work.
Wow.
Woo! Day off work.
Yeah, basically. I called and said, yeah, I'm not coming to work today.
Can you provide evidence? Sure. Let me just give you the left side of my truck.
I didn't have to do that. They were like, okay.
My job, you have to provide proof. So I'm assuming insurance is going to cover this.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, his insurance is just going to go up quite a bit.
All right, so next time buy a Chevy. Real men wear bow ties.
Yeah.
I don't think it was I think they just need to be more careful where we put the poles, you know?
Oh, yeah, because
the
position of the pole is the problem here.
The pole was the problem.
The pole was the problem?
Well, if there wasn't a pole there, I'd have just went into the field.
There wasn't a pole in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a field. This wouldn't have happened.
Exactly. See, Alex gets it.
Oh, my Lord.
Anyway, that's how my week went.
To be fair, he has been driving for, 27 years at this point, I would guess, around there.
At least, yeah.
So, it's not like this was, careless driving. It's winter way. That's why I'm gobsmacked when anyone says they liked winter. One, it's fucking cold. And two, you get, the roads are dangerous as shit. And you could hit black ice at any point and slide off the road or slide into somebody else. And, yeah, through no fault of your own. So, just another reason to hate winter.
Just for the record, I just want to be clear. I was nowhere in Ohio, so I didn't cause this with a snowplow. Just for the record. Just being out there.
Just for the record. Yeah, just putting it out there. I get you.
Ah, my Lord. Well, you know what? As bad as the example as that is, now my week doesn't feel as bad.
That doesn't feel bad, does it?
If you were having a bad week, Yield just made you feel better.
Oh my Lord! I cannot even begin to explain to you guys the bullshit that I'm dealing with at work.
Try.
I can't put that.
Go!
There's so much bullshit. The alarms are going off.
Now,
DEFCON 3. There's so much bullshit. It's DEFCON 3.
Now, I want you guys to know before we actually start the show, I was going to do something that I thought probably would irritate you guys, so I didn't do it. I was going to set up on the mixer the official Rangers goal horn with the music at the end and play that every time that went off. Now I missed the opportunity.
Well, to be fair, I think that would annoy the listeners more than it would annoy us. So,
listen, if anybody listens to Loop Brothers, every time they get a trophy, they play dubstep. I think they'll deal with 20 seconds of a goal horn. A goal horn is a lot more appeasing to the ears than dubstep.
And their listenership dropped 50% in 1 week.
Well, I'm not even going to go there. We're going to leave that alone.
I'm not talking about the Loop Bros. I was referring to us and that stupid goal horn. I was talking about us, not Loop Bros.
You know what? Hold on a second. Because now you done irritated me.
You were already irritated.
Yeah, you just made me worse. Hold on.
Well, to be fair, you don't come here to get less irritated, with me.
No, in my luck, there's going to be an ad. Yep, and there was. Hold on. And includes unlimited DVR space. Good thing I'm editing, huh?
Sounds like a train.
Hold on.
The Rock and Roll Express.
This is great audio, by the way. Now I'm going to set it up for the playoffs. Now you guys have to deal with it on the playoffs.
Again, the listeners. Yeah, who's that? Jim Mora? Who's playoffs?
Who's saying about playoffs? We can't even win a game, let alone talk about the playoffs.
Nitro says the dubstep is definitely better than this trash. Thank you, Nitro, for coming in and trolling us, or trolling me at least. It's what you do best.
Is it claptrap dubstep?
No.
Oh, because claptrap dubstep is amazing.
No, you know what? That's fair. All right, can we get back to the noble show? Because
you're the hold on. Don't come at us like that. You're the one that brought that Rangers nonsense onto the.
Well, sure. Where are we at in the show now? Because I totally forgot.
We haven't even done our updated trophies yet. And to be fair, I didn't derail the show off the start. That was Yield.
Well, aren't you glad you did?
I had a life-changing event this week.
I didn't say it was bad or you were wrong for it. I'm just saying I'm not the one that got us derailed off the start.
Yeah, but you also have to take credit for getting us further derailed by talking about the Rangers.
That's true. I have to admit that.
Listen. Look, if you're going to derail us further, derail us with some of the juicy gossip from your work. That's more exciting.
Grown men need to stop acting like babies. That's all I'll say.
I don't know. See, you got to be careful about that being union.
That's the thing, is I can't say it because I know they listen to the show because I received a suspension from work because of something I said on the Loop Bros.
Really?
Yes.
Not even on your own show.
Not even on my own show.
What did you say?
You want me to say it again so I get suspended?
Just tell us off air.
I was going to see if you would do it without thinking if you would just do it.
No.
I don't want you to get suspended from work. I mean, not that you do any work anyway. Well, hold on. You're like, last episode, you were the only person in the office, so how can they suspend you when there's so few people to work and there's so many people on probation?
Well, I mean, granted, everybody's coming off probation in the next... At least everybody in my garage will be off probation in the next 2 months.
No,
unless they got extended.
Keep wrecking.
Unless they got extended, which one guy who arguably... okay, so I'll give you a little story without giving you full context, okay? About a year and a half ago, I was the clerk, and that's when you guys know that I started working days. I started working 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. As the clerk, I basically ran the office, and I set up the board and the orders for the future guys. While I was a clerk, we had an influx of 40 new guys to come into the garage. All those guys are getting close to the end of their probation, except for one guy who came in. He worked for 2 weeks, and then went out with a knee injury and hasn't been back to work since. He got extended 14 months on his probation.
Really milking that injury.
Well, we had another guy who I'm not going to name. Now, okay, I'm going to clarify this by saying, I mean, no disrespect to anybody. To be 100% honest, I don't fully understand it either. But we had one guy come in, and because we have to cater to religious things, this guy came in and said he needed off for the Sabbath every week. So, like, we have assigned chart days, which is our days off. He needed his chart day to be the Sabbath. But you guys know what the Sabbath is, right?
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Okay. He apparently followed the lunar Sabbath. So his day off would change every single week.
Didn't know that was a thing, but there are different religions.
I didn't know it either. And I can't even tell you what religion it is. But
that's the key. That's what he didn't want anyone. He didn't want anybody to know about it, so he could just make it the rules as he goes along.
But
actually, when you're done, I do have a story to go along with that.
But you know, I try to be respectful. You know, we follow this guy. But after all the examples we made for this guy has not been to work in 9 months. And
wow,
somehow,
that's a heck of a lunar. That's a heck of a Sabbath.
And somehow this guy still has his job. Rangers are kicking ass today. I was gonna pick up my phone and do the YouTube thing again, but I was like, I'll pass you guys. But yeah, it's just like, again, I'm gonna be careful how I word this. Please, Department of Sanitation, if you hear this, I don't mean any disrespect. There's some guys. Well, you can say whatever you want. I can't. There's some guys that deserve to lose their jobs and somehow keep their jobs, and there's some guys that don't deserve to lose their jobs and they're fired without notice. And it just baffles me to this day. All right. You have a story to go with this, Alex?
Yeah, real quick about, I mean, you mentioned the respecting the religious freedom and everything. There's a guy who I used to work with, not his name, but he was usually had Sunday off because, to observe his religious freedoms. And there was one Sunday, actually, I guess, where he needed to be scheduled to cover like a shift as to do, a certain specific task at the store. He finished that specific task and wasn't even there for half a shift and just walked the fuck out of the store and went home. And as far as I know, nothing ever came of it. He just fucking walked out. And he came back to work. He was still working there after that, but no punishment whatsoever. So that just kind of goes along with, you talking about respecting someone's ability to practice their religion. And if you work with somebody who does that, it's like, man, that's shitty. I'm working and you just fucking leave.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
In case you didn't hear, Rangers scored again, so it's now 3-0. 10 minutes into the game.
You remember how we caught shit for? I think Lucia was still on the show, but we made fun of the division that one episode, and people got real cranky about that.
Yep.
That's going to be this thing. Is hearing that goal horn, people are going to get cranky and they're going to turn this episode off. And I'm sure we're going to deliver another banger like we always do, but they're going to be chased off by that damn goal horn.
Well, we're going to have a banger until the end because I already warned Yield, but we got to talk merger for the topic of the week.
Non-Microsoft Activision merger?
Yeah, we have to talk about that merger.
We need like a count. You know those like safety counts? It's like this many days since injury.
This many days since Trophy Horse talked about the merger.
Yeah. I saw a story. I actually saw a related story last week, and I completely fucking ignored it. I didn't put it on the agenda because I just didn't want to talk about it. So, Trophy Horse Nation, you're welcome. I'm out here looking out for your well-being.
Well, to be fair, I didn't. The only reason we're doing this is because I didn't have a topic of the week worthy story to throw in there. So
you don't just throw some shit in there just to make a topic of the week. You just, if there's not one worth talking about, you don't call it the topic of the week. I don't know.
All right, let's get into our updated trophies. I am level 832, total trophies of 25,215 and 675 platinums. Alex, before I let you go, I just want to thank you. Last week I heard you say that I am a much better host, and I'm not being egotistical or anything, but it's nice to hear a compliment from you every so often.
No, I think you're a better host. I think Daryl's a better host than I am. So even when Daryl's a guest, it's like, Daryl, would you please host because you're a better host than I am?
Daryl, you're not an official host of the show, but can you just host this? Because I really don't. I'm not really good at it. Alex, what are your trophies, sir?
I didn't say I wasn't good at it. I just say I'm not as good. I am right on the page this week, on top of the ball, level 474, total trophy count of 8,575 with a platinum count of 141 in 142 games for the first time in 3 or 4 weeks, about a month. I haven't gotten a platinum this week, but stay tuned. Because I may have my own goal horn coming off while we record this episode of Trophy
You are
Wars.
not playing games while we record, are you?
The fuck I am.
You know what? I am. I'm disrespectful. Yield.
Yo.
What are your trophies, sir?
Well, I got some gold, some silver, some bronze, and I got a new platinum this week.
I heard you got 2 new ones.
That was last week.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for paying attention.
I do pay attention.
So I am a level 490 with a trophy count of 9271 and a newly minted 166 platinums.
I got 3 new platinums, but it's not worth talking about. So
no, my one game's better than your 3.
It probably is.
Do you want to say the names so we can all have a good laugh?
Well, 2 of the games I think are the exact same game. Hold on.
Oh, just different regions, that chicanery?
No, one's the PS4 version, one's the PS5 version. I got Classic Journey and
Did you actually play it or did you stack it?
Well, okay, what do you mean by stack it?
Did you auto pop?
You basically import your file and then just auto pop it.
No. Okay, so I got Classic Journey and Classic Journey Nitro, which are basically the same game. Actually, they were both PS5 versions. Sorry. But you basically just start the game and hold down R1 for like 10 seconds and you get a platinum.
It would take less time to do that than to actually auto pop the trophies by moving over your save file.
Yes. And then I got the platinum in Burger Fun, which again is a very easy platinum. But you actually have to do some work. You have to do some syncing up with the buttons in time. So it's like Rock Band-esque, where you just have to like press the right button as it hits the circle. It takes like 20 seconds. If we're talking work, you mean in comparison to that previous trophy you mentioned that you got in 10 seconds? You actually have to pay
the amount of work.
Yes, you actually have to pay attention to Burger Fun. Just for reference, I got Burger Fun's Platinum in 42 seconds, Classic Journey in 38 seconds, and Classic Journey Nitro in 29 seconds. Jesus Christmas, why am I not watching this game?
I don't know. Why aren't you? It's a blowout.
That's 4-0 already? Jeez.
Yeah.
Last night, I was very happy they beat the Schittsburg 6-0. So.
Oh, that's good. No one likes Schittsburg.
I hate Schittsburg.
So do I.
That's
but from a different sport.
Yes. You brought up his name earlier. That's Lucia's favorite team, and I couldn't think of nothing less or anything better than Lucia crying in his car because his team got whipped by my team 6-0. I said.
Way to be a bigger man.
Matt G's in the chat. He says we don't have to talk about the Microsoft thing. I know we don't have to, and he also says Alex can play games. If you're gonna have Super Rangers go horn, go off.
Yeah, you can't hear my game.
No, but it doesn't mean you're paying attention.
Well, I was right on the ball. I had my trophy list up and I read it right away. I'm responding, in a very timely fashion. So I'm on it this week.
Yeah, you actually did have the agenda. I was impressed. I saw.
Sometimes you live and you learn it. You just kind of figure out this professionalism thing as you go along.
You're no longer in the agenda, but Yield is. I appreciate that, Yield.
You're welcome.
Sid is level 830, total trophies of 22,942 with 716 platinums. So he's roughly, 36 platinums ahead of me? I can get that in about 10 minutes.
No.
Absolutely.
25. It's a little bit more than that.
41. Alexa, what's 716 minus 675?
He's
716 minus
41.
41, yeah.
Yeah, I can get that in an hour.
Well, you could if you spam the heck out of the things. You could.
Yes, I could. All right, so let's get into what we're playing. Yield, we'll start with you, sir.
So I've been playing some Zombie Army 4 Dead War. That was my latest platinum. Like I said, my one game was better than your 3. Some Farm Simulator 19, some Rocket League, some Immortals Phoenix Rising, the Lost Gods DLC, some Diablo 3, playing through on hardcore, World of Warship Legends, Deep Rock Galactic, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, multiplayer boost, and I fired up some Sifu today to try to get me my not worth anything PlayStation Stars app fake trophy.
Did you get
it? Which by the way, I am really disappointed in you, Tricky Mick, on PlayStation Stars.
Why?
I'm a higher rank than you are.
Okay. Only because you've gotten more rare trophies.
I am maxed out. I can't go any higher.
Actually,
it's kind of disappointing that level 4 is all the higher you can go. And wow, again.
That's what I just said.
And so I happened to look at yours a little bit ago, and I'm like, wow, Tricky's not even as high as I am. That's disappointing, Mr. PlayStation over there.
Well, I purchased more games than you.
Well, I'm sure you have.
I'm trying to bring it up right now. Jesus, 5-0. It's not even 10 minutes left. 10 minutes into the game. They're kicking some ass. I'm not watching the game. All right, so you had to buy 4 games to get to level 4. I bought 195. And you need 128 rare or above trophies. I have 128 rare or above. I have 114. So I need 14 more rare trophies, and I'll be right with you.
Oh, okay.
The problem is I'm still playing the Division, which I can't get any trophies in. But I'm slowly working that way because I'm also playing Sifu as well. Did you get the PlayStation Stars thing?
Not yet, no. I started to play, and then I had to make supper, and then it was time to record.
Okay, so now I'm going to rag on you a little bit because I kind of ragged on you while we were multiplayer boosting before.
That's fine.
Alex?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so Yield is playing Sifu. And
I surmised that much.
And he's going to fight the first boss. Yield, do you want to tell him what age you are already? Granted, you started at level 20. You started at age 20.
So when I died, I surpassed 75 and died.
He's died 55 times on the first level.
Not 55 times. I've died enough to up my age, because every time you die, your age goes up faster and faster.
It goes up by one year, right?
No, when you die a second time, it goes up by 2 years. You die a third time, it goes up by 3 years. You die a fourth time, it goes up by 4 years, and so on and so forth.
Oh, it might be doing that, because you're playing it on normal. I'm playing it on easy.
Yes, I was playing on normal. See, that's the other thing, Alex. Tricky over here was playing it on easy. I was playing it on normal.
Hey, even on easy, it's not easy.
Well, that's what Tricky does. Tricky plays
most
things on easy now, and then wants to give us shit when we're playing on easy. You know, to do
no
bosses in God of War.
I don't give you shit for playing on easy. I give you shit because you give me shit, and then when you do it, it's like, oh, it's perfectly fine. But when Tricky does it, he's not a real gamer.
When's the last time I gave you shit? Also, I've explained this to you before. I don't give you shit for playing on easy. If you want to play on easy, if that's the way you enjoy games, that's fine. I give you shit for acting like you're a badass for playing 20-second platinum games. And then telling us that you're a badass. Like, that's what I give you shit for. But anyway, Tricky, I've got some breaking news for you. Tricky, are you ready for this?
Hold on. Matt G, I don't know what JFC stands for. I think I know what it stands for, but I don't exactly know. I'm just assuming that's because...
It stands for...
We can't... Holy Man freaking... Holy Man?
Yes.
That's what I thought. All right.
Yes.
What's your breaking news, Alex?
I just earned a platinum trophy, which brought me up to level 475 and a platinum count of 142 in 141 games. And more importantly, what that should have done was bring me up to 88%.
You earned 1 trophy or 2?
1. No, 2, because I earned 2, a gold trophy and then a platinum trophy.
Okay, there.
But the important thing is that one of my goals for this year was to get up to 88%. Oh, error on PSN profiles? Fuck you.
Probably because you just updated.
No, because I just updated them.
Oh.
That's why. You got to wait an hour.
Well, currently, I guess before this platinum trophy, my percentage was at 87.98%. Yeah. So this might bring me over 88% completion.
Congratulations.
Which was, thank you, sir, which is one of my goals for this year. So I may have already gotten one of my goals done in March.
I am currently sitting at 68.8. So I've gone up percentage point or 2.
You're at 68.8?
Yeah, 68.08.
Oh, I'm at 63.96.
Because I've been doing cleaning up a lot of DLC that I own, so that's kind of helping my percentage go up.
Yeah, but also, I mean, if you just keep getting 100% in games, even if you leave those other games alone that you didn't get as many trophies in, or you left some trophies on the table, your percentage is going to go up. Obviously, not as much if you go clean those games up, but still, from here on out, I could get up to 90 by just 100% in every game.
Yeah, well, my completion rate's going up just because I keep getting platinums in cheap games. That I get 100% in every one of those games, so they just keep racking up to 100%.
And you know that's another thing we can pick on Tricky about Alex.
Oh, here we go.
So he is like 500 platinums ahead of us, and our percentage points is way better than him. Our completion percentage is way better than him.
Okay, hold on. That's not exactly fair either.
Why is that not fair?
Okay, hold on. Let me bring up your profile.
Go right ahead. I'm looking at it myself.
So you played 367 games.
Yep, and I've completed how many?
I just went off of it. Hold on.
I've completed 167 of them.
Okay, so 200 games that you played, you haven't
not
completed.
100%.
Okay, so let's go to Alex. Alex has 260 games played.
Damn, we ain't even out of the first period yet.
Is there any way you could turn that off, Tricky? Because that's got to be getting annoying for people. Because it's kind of getting annoying for me, too.
Yeah, because, Matt G says turn off the damn horde. I would actually have to get up and walk over there, but yes, I can turn it off. Alex, you played 260 games, and you've completed 180. Okay? So, Yield, how many games have you played?
367.
Okay. I've played 1,336 games. So I have a bigger margin for error. Over almost 1,000 games more than you.
Whose fault's that?
Well, and to be fair, and I'm not going to use this as an excuse, although it's going to come out like an excuse. Some of these games I started playing for review and never had any interest in completing.
Excuses.
Put it out there. All right.
You're still the one that accepted the review.
Well, yes, that is true. All right. So where's the agenda? Where did I put the agenda? Right there.
I don't know. What are we even doing here?
Did you finish what you played, Yield?
Yes.
Okay, Alex, what have you been playing? Why go shut off the horde?
So I did play some Rocket League with Nitro, Yield, and Riley this past week. But my main focus after getting the Bug Snacks Platinum was a game that truly is, we're all participating in the backlog beatdown, but this truly was a backlog game for me that I wanted to play, just kind of never, actually went and played it. And that's Chicory, A Colorful Tale. Now, I will tell you, if you're going for this Platinum Trophy, very fun game. Not hard, really hard at all. There is one. Before you play the game, please read through a trophy guide because there's one glitched trophy, or there's one trophy that is tied to a missable item that you have like an opportunity to get, and if you miss that opportunity, then you missed it. So please read the trophy guide before you play the game. But,
like missed it, or like you have to play through it again to get it.
Like play through it again. That's my understanding. That's what the guides say. So
okay. So there is an opportunity to get it. You just have to spend more time in the game than what you normally would.
You would have to start over. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So the game I've been playing, Chicory: A Colorful Tale. A nice, another one of those games I downloaded from PlayStation Plus Extra. Fun game. It's like kind of got basically the world. There is an evil that has taken over, and you assume the role of a wielder, someone who carries around a paintbrush and adds color. You're an artist. You add color back to the world, and it's the story of the passage of that brush from you to the previous wielder. Also, how you destroy the evil, which is a kind of a I don't want to destroy the story, but it's not like your typical Ganondorf evil. There is something more sinister to this evil, and that it's kind of like an evil that resides in all of us, I will say. So, but yeah, you're essentially restoring the color to the world. You have different. There's lots of customization. It's made by a small team. There's lots of customization. A lot of the collectibles are clothing items that you can then wear, sport out in the world while you're doing your good deeds. You got different colors that you can use in each region of the world to return color to that world. You have different brush styles, like one of the brush templates is a heart. Then there's a flame, like fire flame. Then there's like a leaf. Then there's just a slash. So there's all these different brush strokes that you can find in the world that you can use to make your art. For a lot of people though, you're probably going to focus. There's like a paint can one where you basically just dump paint all over the world, and then you can there's different layers to it. So you can color a screen within seconds by just using the paint can and just dumping paint all over the place. And but yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. The boss fights, they're kind of annoyingly long, I'm going to be honest. But overall, the game is very much like, it kind of feels like Zelda, where that progression, you go from like you can go down to go to a different screen, you can go left, you can go right, you can go up. So a highly customizable world. They give you different decor that you can put in your house, decor that you can use to put out like on a beach to bring people together for a party. So there's lots of different stuff to collect. But yeah, it gives you a Zelda vibe with the map, because you can, like I said, you move up, down, left, right, and you just kind of go over the world. And yeah, other than the boss fights being a little bit long, like kind of taking forever to beat them, and like because they're not super, like you take a lot of hits. So I got kind of frustrated during the boss fights, although I didn't die in them, because I think you just don't die, or you can be like, hey, do you want extra hits because you've been hit so much? Like, sure, whatever, why not? But overall, I did enjoy the game. Lots of environmental spatial puzzle solving, stuff like that. Lots of using your color, your paintbrush to solve puzzles. So yeah, it's a cute game. Lots of cute characters. All the characters in the world are like little animals, anthropomorphic animals, and they all have different like food names. So there's a character named Avocado. There's one named Pumpernickel. So all these different food items. Radish is another one. And you get to name your own character, your little dog, and it asks you at the beginning of the game what your favorite food is. And I wanted to put peanut butter. It couldn't fit, so I just said nut butter, and that was my name for the rest of the game. So yeah, a very cute game, very fun. Some pretty head scratching puzzle solving, and just like being able to recolor the world the way you like is pretty awesome. So yeah, I highly enjoyed it. And I will tell you that if you're going to go after this platinum trophy, the guides say 10 to 12 hours. That's bullshit. It's more like 20 to 25. So just be mindful of that. But still, not a long platinum, and a very fun game, very cute game. And yeah, so I enjoyed Chicory, and I would highly recommend it to anybody listening.
All right, Goldhorn is off. So hopefully it doesn't bother anybody else again. Matt G in the chat says, oh, excuse me, Proven Bot asked a question. Yield's favorite bot. Proven Bot asks, which animal at the zoo do you like the best? And Matt G says, snakes.
Why does it have to be snakes?
They're so fucking creepy. I mean, I don't mind them at the zoo, like looking at them behind glass. Like,
yeah, behind glass. No one got the reference.
I got the reference. It was Indiana Jones.
It's Indiana Jones reference. Yep, yes. Thank you.
I got the reference.
I'm glad you did. Glad somebody did. As long as one person got the reference, that's all that matters.
All right, and all I've been playing all week is.
Wait, you're not gonna ask us what our favorite animal is?
Yeah.
I figured you guys were just gone with it. If you were, Yield, what's your favorite animal at the zoo?
Well, it kind of varies. It depends on my mood. I kind of like looking at all the different exotic animals that I don't see on a regular basis. So That's kind of a cheap answer, but that's kind of where it is.
And
probably polar bears or penguins. If I had to pick an absolute definite, probably one of those two.
Alex?
So when I was a kid, I loved the rhinos, and I still like rhinos. However, I think that hippos are my favorite exhibit at the zoo.
Even though you hate them.
Huh?
Even though you hate hippos.
I don't hate hippos. Murray from Sly Cooper's a hippo. Why do you think I hate hippos?
Because when you were talking about Horizon, you were talking about how you hated hippos because they're
them suckers are mean.
They're assholes.
Yeah, they're hard as fuck. They are assholes, but I still like hippos. No, I respect hippos because most people probably don't know that they're like badasses in the animal world. They will fuck something up, and you don't have it like they kill more people in Africa than any other animal every fucking year. They're like, you don't fuck around with hippos. But no, like Cincinnati Zoo's got a really good hippo exhibit, and with their pygmy hippos, and I have to go watch them interact and swim around and just kind of float there like the big lugs they are. But no, hippos. But in the wild, would I ever want to? No, I would not want to come face to face with a hippo because I'd be dead.
I don't know if this is a zoo because I think it's more of an aquarium thing, but I like watching like the seals and the walruses perform. That's my favorite thing.
I mean, some zoos like our zoo has like in Louisville we have like an Arctic area, and we've got like polar bears and like colder weather based animals. But I mean, like seals, you're probably more likely to see those in an aquarium. Although you might also see them in a zoo. But like you're not going to see you're more likely to see the shows, I think, in a place like SeaWorld or something like that.
Yeah. All right, and what have I been playing? I've been playing some Division 2, obviously. I played the 3 spam games. I played a little Sifu. Played a little ActRaiser. I forget the name. It's not remastered. It's a remaster of the original ActRaiser. I just don't remember the full name of ActRaiser. I think that's
Aftershave?
I don't know.
No, all right.
I don't get that reference.
You said ActRaiser. I said Aftershave.
I don't get it.
See, if I have to explain it, it loses its funny.
Distant Black Flag. Some Black Flag multiplayer with Yield and Nitro and JT. There's another game that I'm not thinking of. I recently played.
I don't know. I think those are the ones I've seen you playing.
Sifu. Played a little Sifu. ActRaiser.
Said that.
Renaissance. That's what it is. Yeah. That's all I've played. All right. Let's get into our first topic. Alex, you probably may or may not have noticed this. This is coming from xpooter.com and is written by Mohammed Namir Zia.
What the fuck is this website?
Just the first website I found with this topic. PlayStation 5 update adds a new animation for unlocking the Platinum Trophy. The latest update for the PlayStation 5 has added a special new animation for unlocking the Platinum Trophy. Getting the Platinum is always one of the most satisfying things completing a game, especially when it's particularly time-consuming like Red Dead Redemption 2 or The Witcher 3. This feature makes getting the Platinum just feel a little bit more special. Have you guys noticed it when you unlock the Platinum, the new animation?
Well, Alex would be the most prime with that because he was just playing on his 5.
Yeah, so I got the Platinum for Chicory, and I did actually notice, I forgot to say anything, but I did notice that there's a special animation. Like, it actually has the Platinum Trophy, like, coming together. Because, all the other ones have a static image, and the old one of the Platinum Trophy, you would have a static image. This is actually the Platinum Trophy, like, forming. So it's like, it's got, like, I don't know how to say it, but it's like an animated trophy pop.
Yield, if you want to see it, there's a video of it in the article.
Yeah, I was just saying, I was just watching that video because I have yet to earn a Platinum on my 5 since this happening. I have to say, they need to take that trophy ding and make it for all the trophies because that's more like a ding that we are accustomed to and not the whatever the heck they gave us.
You're really still against that sound, huh?
Dude, I'm not the only one. All right, so we all know that my brother finally hooked up. He got his 5, and he hooked it up. First thing I think he texted it either in our group or he put it on I don't think he put it on Facebook. I think he texted it in our group. First thing he texts, God, what's up with this trophy ding? I said, thank you.
Okay, to be fair, you guys are brothers, so it tends to lead that you guys would have the same taste in things. That you and
true.
Homer are the only ones I hear complain about that sound.
Well, because it's not really a sound. I'm sorry. I'm accustomed to the ding. All right, the 3 and the 4. There was this ding. Now it's more of a. It's not even a ding. It's more of like a notification. And I'm like, where's my ding? Like, I earned a trophy the other day when I was playing Immortals Phoenix Rising, the Lost Gods DLC. I earned a trophy, and the only reason I knew I earned it was because my wife was sitting there, and she's like, hey, you earned a trophy. Because it's not the noticeable ding.
Listen,
So-
if you need help finding your ding, you got bigger problems than that.
So I'm dying on this hill and be proud of it.
With the new generation, they've made it so the platinum trophy feels more special. So like there's a different sound for it. And even Tricky, were you saying, you weren't on last week's episode, but were you saying there's different pings for the gold, the silver, and the bronze?
I believe there are. Somebody told me I'm wrong, but I believe there's different sounds for all 4 different ones.
But I mean, at least now the platinum trophy feels different with this new special animation, but also the specialized like sound. Like I don't know, I like that the platinum trophy is kind of set apart from all the others.
Well, so do I. I like it, but I'm just. Well, I had the opportunity. I was going to put that in there that we need the rest of the trophies to sound a little bit better than what they are.
All right, let's move on because I don't want to get on a whole spiel about the ding. Coming from IGN, the PlayStation Plus March 2023 game catalog update is highlighted by Ghostwire Tokyo. This is written by Taylor Lies. Sony announced a new batch of games coming to its PlayStation Plus game catalog, which include Ghostwire Tokyo, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, Immortals Phoenix Rising are the headlines. You're also going to get Tisha. TCHIA. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Rainbow Six Extraction, Life is Strange 2 Colors, Life is Strange 2, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Street Fighter V Championship Edition, Untitled Goose Game, Final Fantasy Type O HD, Rage 2, Neo, The World Ends With You, Haven, Ridge Racer Type 4, which you need premium for, Ape Academy 2, which you need premium for, and Siphon Filter Dark Mirror, which you also need premium for. Good
That
little
was
list
a
there.
PSP game?
Dark
Mirror?
I don't know.
I think it was. It wasn't a console game, I don't think. I could be wrong.
I don't know. But those are the games.
Anyway.
It's a good little list.
It is a good little list.
Uh,
Alex will have more games to play.
we got to get you up to premium yield.
No, Yield doesn't need premium.
Yield, that was your Christmas gift, though. You can't say no.
Well, that is true, but I can say no to the other, 3 or 4 years that you want to give me.
Just be your Christmas gift for the next 3 years. Anybody want to talk about any particular game on this list that they're interested in playing?
Well, I've been told by both of you that I would like Immortals Phoenix Rising, so I mean that is a game that's part of this. So I'm not gonna have to pay anything to play it, which is nice.
Yeah, I really think you'd like it.
I think you would too.
I would definitely dabble with Siphon Filter because I haven't played Dark Mirror.
Okay.
But most of the other stuff I already own that I would want to play.
Okay, I just realized they misspelled required 3 times wrong in this article. Now it's driving me crazy.
Did they really?
Yeah, they didn't add the E between the R and the Q.
Oh!
That
Spell check failed them.
Now that is bothering me. All right, I gotta click off this article. Next thing we have is we talked about getting games day one with PlayStation Plus. Well, now we're gonna get one. Get Meet Your Maker day one as a PlayStation Plus monthly game that's out April 4th. This is coming from the PlayStation blog, written by Justin Fragapane. I'm sure I pronounced that right.
I like that last name.
He is the lead content strategist from Behavior Interactive. Meet Your Maker launches on April 4th, and what better way to do it with the day one availability as part as the PlayStation monthly games lineup. While there's no better feeling than finally getting a game into the hands of players, Meteor Maker's focus on user-generated content makes this release extra special for us. This is a twisted playground where anyone can unleash their creativity, building and challenging each other with levels that we've never conceived. After the incredible showcase of imagination and skill we've seen from our playtesters, we're beyond excited to see what the rest of the world can do. If you're looking for a few ideas to drive your personal approach to building or raiding on April 4th, here they have some pictures. So this kind of looks like a horror version of Little Big Planet. I don't know that I'm going to be interested. I think I kind of turned yield off a little bit by saying it's user-generated content.
Well, I was going to watch the trailer.
Okay. You want to watch the trailer?
I don't mind user-generated content, but I don't really like if I have to engage in that, because I like to customize some things. I like to customize a character. Like a perfect example is like a wrestling game character. Like I love that kind of stuff. But I don't want to sit here and have to like build worlds or levels like they had in Little Big Planet. So, if there's that level of customization, like that's great. And I'm sure, a lot of people in a community will build around that. It's just not the way that I want to engage with games.
All right, Yield, you've watched the trailer. What do you think?
I'm watching it now.
Okay.
It's a 2.5 minute trailer.
But let me ask you, Tricky, like, do you think that this is a relatively unknown game? Do you think that, releasing this game, paying to essentially to release this game day and date on PlayStation Plus is really helpful? Because obviously Microsoft has all their big games day and date with, when they come to stores. It's like, hey, you can play it on Game Pass day one.
I think it really... I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to... Does it help because it's not a big game? It's not like a game that people... It's not like a Street Fighter or like something like that people have really been looking forward to. It's a game that maybe people will enjoy. It could be a very good game, but it's not got the hype around it that other big titles have.
I think it really boils down to being what type of game it is. We've had a few examples of Stray. Bug Snacks, I think, was free.
To be fair, Stray had a lot more behind it than this game does.
Rocket League. We didn't know anything about Rocket League before we got it for free. So I think it really depends on the game itself, whether or not it's going to be successful. Personally, I'm against day one releases on these premium services like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, because I feel like all the work the developer put into it, all the money they put into developing it, and you're essentially giving it away for free. And I know it's not free because I know PlayStation or Microsoft, they pay the developers or the publishers to put it on their service. That's not what I mean. It's you're putting it out to the masses and you're losing all those sales. Now, granted, in the case of Rocket League, because it was so good and because we talked it up, Alex, you went in after and purchased it because you didn't get it for free. So it can work, but if there's no hype behind this game, because I've never even heard of this game before this, so there's no hype behind this. I don't know. I think it really depends on the game. I'm not
saying don't do it, but I think that if your goal is to, for people who enjoy PlayStation Plus, like it'll, it's a good look because we go, okay, I'll try this game day and date. Like there is something to. Hey, we release games on the first day too, but you also can't compare to what Microsoft is doing. So should you pay to put these games like that on, your console in a manner of like, hey, you can play this on PlayStation Plus if you're a subscriber the same day that you can buy it. Like,
see,
I don't know. I don't know how much good it does them because they're immediately just going to be compared to Microsoft,
Well, see, I think the main difference that people need to realize with PlayStation Plus compared to what Microsoft does is Microsoft has committed that all their internal studios games would be free on Game Pass day one. So Microsoft isn't paying themselves to put it on, obviously. So they're putting, $50 million into developing the next Gears of War, and then they don't get any sales from it because it's being released on Game Pass. Where in this case, this game is being made by an outside developer. I think it's Behavior. Where they're making the money by putting it on, but they're taking the upfront payment instead of sales. which I think could be a good strategy because if your game's not known, you get it into more hands. You could possibly turn around and sell future copies of the game, sell microtransactions, whatever it is to support your game. And if they feel like they're going to get more in the upfront payment than they would in game sales, this is a smart move. But then I counteract that with saying, if you don't think your game's going to sell, then why the hell did you develop the game? Yield, I'll throw it to you. You've had time to watch the trailer. What are your thoughts?
So, from what I saw of it, I wanna like it. But the whole entirety of it being user-generated means I will probably be more frustrated by the fact that I died not ever getting to the end of a labyrinth than I actually will by the fact that I actually got to the end of a labyrinth. I don't know. It looks intriguing. I may or may not give it a whirl. I don't know.
Okay. Moving
like
on.
I wish there was some base stuff, and like you said, kind of a Little Big Planet that I wish there was some standard stuff that you could do, and then the real meat of it, not really the real meat of it, but there's also the user generated stuff that you can do where it seems like it's just user generated from out the go. I think I'd be more frustrated with it than I would be enjoying it. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Moving on.
Tricky, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Got a question for you. It relates to PlayStation Plus Premium.
Okay.
So I was looking at the Classics catalog, and I noticed that some of the games, like Heavenly Sword, you can only stream, but then there are other games that you can download to your console.
PS3
Have they ever
games.
explained why?
Yes.
You can only stream some, and others you can download?
Yes, some games you can't download, you can only stream, and those are the PS3 titles.
Oh, so the PS3 are stream only?
Yes.
Okay.
More PlayStation.
That's weird, because some of the PS1 games you can download.
Yeah, it goes back to the whole way they designed the PS3 with the the cell processor.
Cell processor?
Yeah, it just wasn't compatible with future consoles. So they've had a problem with that from the start, trying to get these games up there. Because even when it was PlayStation Now, only the PS3 games could only stream. You couldn't download them. All right, moving on to our next topic, coming from my not favorite website, who I think is just a bunch of clickbait people. Comic Book Gaming, written by Tyler Fisher. PlayStation Plus subscribers are losing 9 games by the time you hear this on the audio podcast. If you listen to it now live, you still have some time, but not much. PlayStation Plus subscribers are set to lose access to 9 different free games next week on March 21st. If you're a PlayStation Plus Essential subscriber, which is, say, a subscriber to the basic and standard tier of PlayStation Plus, these 9 games are not going to concern you because you've never had access to them in the first place, as they were locked behind Extra and Premium. If you are an Extra or Premium subscriber, the games do concern you, but thankfully none of them are particularly consequential, broadly speaking at least. One of the games below could be one of your favorites, but generally most subscribers won't be too crestfallen. That's a hell of a word. That said, the games are to depart on March 21st. Those 9 games are Danger Zone, Dungeons 2, Ghost of a Tale, Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 5, Override 2, Super Mech League, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, which I heard was actually pretty good, Velocibox, Victor Vaughn Overkill Edition, and WWE 2K22, which I also heard was pretty good.
Yeah, it's getting it looks really good, and I've seen videos showing all the little details they have in it. It's if you knock out the referee, apparently the referee when they come back, from being stunned, they count slower. So apparently they put a lot of detail in this one.
Yeah. Matt G says, and yet you're here clicking on their bait. Yes, I am. So yeah, if you want to play those games, you got 2 days to play those games. Okay, moving on. This was I thought about putting it as our topic of the week, but I don't think there's too much conversation we're gonna have about this.
No, there's not. I just read it.
You just read the article?
I just read the article while you were talking about the other thing.
Okay. Coming from IGN and written by George Yang, Neil Druckmann says Naughty Dog has chosen its next game, but it doesn't confirm The Last of Us Part 3. On an episode of the Kind of Funny Spoilercast, Druckmann said, quote, I know the fans really want The Last of Us Part 3. I hear about it all the time. All I can say is we're already into our next project, and the decision has already been made. I can't say what it is, but that is the process we went through. There's a lot of consideration on different things, and we picked the thing that we're most excited for, end quote. He went on to say, quote, at the end of every project, we purposely explore several different projects. Some of them might be a sequel, and then a bunch of new ideas, and we feel like, where does our passions lie, end quote. So, Yield, I will throw it to you first. I know you haven't played The Last of Us Part 2 yet, so Last of Us Part 3 probably wouldn't be too exciting for you. But do you think we should get Part 3 or new IP or Uncharted, or do we go back in the retro and get us a game from their past?
I'm fine with the new IP. I think it's about time that they kind of start pushing themselves in another direction.
Okay. Anything to add to that, or just that's where you stand?
That's where I stand right now. I might have something after you guys throw in your 2 cents.
All right, Alex, your 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, the way they left off The Last of Us Part 2, I want to see a third one. And, I'm not nothing against new IPs. I fully enjoy new IPs. I mean, at one point, Ghost of Tsushima was a new IP, and I don't know if you guys have read, but their Sucker Punch recently posted for something, a job at the company that is pointing towards, or at least people are speculating is pointing towards Ghost of Tsushima too. Shock. But, I mean, I want them to more fully flesh out The Last of Us after the ending to 2. The ending to 2 just didn't sit well enough with me, and I want to see more of that. And, I know that Sony's studios have, especially Naughty Dog, probably in particular, have more autonomy when it comes to this sort of thing. Because, you see how successful The Last of Us TV show has been. Like, it grew its audience, maybe even doubled its audience by the time the end of the show came about. I have to look that up because I did see a number for what their last episode did. But they've also got, I saw on GamingBible.com today that they got a tabletop game coming out.
Yep.
For The Last of Us, which I shared with you guys as well. So,
and they also have and they also have the Last of Us multiplayer coming too.
Yeah. Which they said I read that we'll hear more about next year, which
by the end of this year.
Okay. But yeah, wildly successful IP. So even if Sony is even if they don't necessarily micromanage their studios and don't force them to do things, I would have to think that somebody at Sony's hey, there's a lot of money that could be made off of this. Where was it? The Video Game Hall of Fame. The Last of Us is one of the nominees to go into the Video Game Hall of Fame this year. So I would have to think that Sony has to be giving them the nudge. It's like, we understand that you guys are passionate about these things, but maybe there's more life in The Last of Us. I'm sure that conversation has come up. Now, they may eventually, in the end, let Naughty Dog do what they're going to do. But I think that Neil Druckmann, with him being involved in the television series, and then already renewing for season 2, and then the potential to do a fourth season with a third chapter in the game, I don't know. We may be seeing him taking an off ramp from games to television shows and movies. This may be the point where he starts to move in that direction. But I just think there's more life that they can get out of The Last of Us. There's still you don't want to just make a sequel for the sake of a sequel or make a sequel for the sake of making money. But I do think there's more life in The Last of Us story. And I think, obviously, he said he hears about it all the time. People want a third part. So I think in the end, they'll give us the third part. I think that's what their next game is. But unless they're treating the multiplayer as the third part. But I don't see them, as much as care and effort as they put into The Last of Us, I don't see them taking an off-ramp to a new IP just yet. PlayStation 6, maybe.
I see 100% going to a new IP. And because I did read this in the article, but it does say it's unlikely that Naughty Dog's next project is related to Uncharted, as Druckmann stated the studio is moving away from that franchise. While he stopped short of confirming whether or not it was The Last of Us Part 3 back in 2021, Druckmann said he had written a story outline for another Last of Us game, but clarified that the studio wasn't currently working on it. Now, that was 2 years ago. That could have changed. I think that they are definitely working on a new IP. I don't think we're going to get The Last of Us Part 3 for at least 5 years. Just because I think we're being saturated with The Last of Us stuff right now. We just had Part 2 released. We had Part 1 remastered. We have the TV show. And now we have the multiplayer going. That's 4 projects in a row since we've seen an Uncharted game. I think they're definitely moving on to another IP, at least to let The Last of Us breathe a little bit. Also, I think it's weird timing because they've already stated that the TV show Season 2 was going to follow the second game, but they were going to branch off. I've said on the Patreon, and I think I've said it on this show as well, I think they're going to take Seasons 2 and 3 of the TV show and tell both sides of Part 2, and then it's going to give them time to either write or release Part 3, so by the time we get the next another season of The Last of Us, they already have a storyline to base it on. So I definitely think they're doing a new IP, which I'm excited to see because I think Naughty Dog is fantastic in their games they make. All right. Yield, anything else to add or no?
No.
Okay. Moving on to our next article. Written by Ryan Zinsdale from IGN. The Hitman franchise is on hiatus as IO Interactive focuses on a James Bond game. As reported by PC Gamer, IO Interactive Chief Creative Officer Christian Elverdam told Eurogamer that it might be a while before fans get another major entry through Hitman World of Assassination Hitman World of Assassination will continue to be updated. Quote, right now, a major new Hitman game that's a little bit on hiatus. We're building another agent fantasy that's taking up a lot of our time, but obviously we'll come back to the beloved Agent 47. He's still very much in our heart of this company. The agent fantasy Elverdam was talking about, of course, is the James Bond game that was announced in 2020 that currently just has the codename Project 007. Very little has been revealed about it since. However, we do know it will have an original story. I think James Bond fits right into their wheelhouse. What about you, Alex? Do you think so?
I mean, yeah, with the whole spy agent vibes that you get from Hitman, I think. I mean, maybe a more gritty, because obviously James Bond's very mainstream. I'm not going to say it's like super family friendly, so take your kids there. But I feel like with Hitman that. It's one of those franchises that, I mean, I would say that it's a little bit, and you can dispute this, trickier Yield if you don't agree, but I would say it's a little bit darker or more gritty than James Bond. Do you think that's fair? James Bond's kind of like Hollywooded up, right?
I would say
yes.
So, yeah.
I would say so, yes.
So, I mean, this may be a way for them to bring more edge to James Bond. Of course, you're going to have to pay for the license, so that's going to cost you more money, but also it may appeal to more people than Hitman. So, but again, Hitman is obviously one of those franchises that's been around for a while that people recognize. So, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you're going to go something more mainstream. If you're going to use a licensed, property, jumping from Hitman to James Bond is a reasonable step to take.
Yield.
So, to answer your question, that yes, I think having IO work on it's not outside of their realm to do a Bond game in the sense because they've done Hitman games. So, gunplay, not necessarily traps, but a spy thing is not out of their wheelhouse, or you wouldn't expect it to be out of their wheelhouse. The thing with a Bond game is it's a real tricky slope. I mean, obviously, you've got the fact that they're going to do something new. So we're not following any of the movies. You're interested to know what, for me being a Bond fan, what what timeline are you following? Are you following the Craig timeline that's been rebooted, or are you jumping somewhere in, from Connery to Pierce? Or are you jumping somewhere in there? I would feel you're going to have to nail the voice actor. Obviously, you're not going to get
Daniel Craig.
You're not going to get Craig to do it. But I'm not saying you're going to have to get a big Hollywood name, but you're going to have to get someone who you can believe that's James Bond. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I want a good Bond game. Since GoldenEye, I haven't really played one where I was like, oh, wow, this is really, really good. So that shows you how long it's been. I've heard that there was one, maybe GameCube-ish, maybe PlayStation 2. I didn't play it, but I'm hoping for good things because I would like a good James Bond video game.
Now, I'm not the biggest James Bond fan, but how many books have there been? Do you know?
Books, I don't know. Movies were like up in the 20s.
Because Ian Fleming, I believe, is the author.
Correct.
And didn't Ian Fleming die in like the 60s or 70s?
That I'm not aware of. I am not that diehard of a James Bond fan.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd like to see a James Bond game. My thing is I worry when movie director 64. All right, so I was
64.
And it was Ian Fleming, right?
Yes.
Okay. I worry when movie writers and producers and stuff like that, they take liberties with an established character because it could feel inauthentic. So, and now you're talking, 50 years since... Oh, wait, 60 years. 60 years since Fleming's death. I don't know. I worry about this game only because it's going to be the original story. I don't worry about it because of the gameplay, because I think IO does a fantastic job with their games. But I worry about them coming out with a story and this feeling inauthentic.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what you got to worry about. And you're tagging James Bond on it.
Right.
So immediately, if you don't live up to that name, you're going to get slammed just on that. Even if your gameplay is phenomenal, if you lack in story, you're just going to get slammed on that.
Well, to be fair, I think that they still have to abide by the owners, like the owners of the license. They still have to. There'll still be conversations on how you can treat the property, how you can treat the character. Like, even though it's an original story, they're still going to have to abide by guidelines set forth by the people who own the license, because obviously that was one of the big headaches that Ed Boon and NetherRealm had with the DC characters, is they can't just go out and do whatever they want to the DC characters. Warner Brothers, or whoever, I think it's Warner Brothers who owns DC, but whoever owns the DC comics and all those characters are like, no, you can't rip out Superman's spine. What the hell are you talking about? So they still have to play nice with the people who own the license, even if they've licensed it to make a game about it.
That's true. All right. At this time, we are going to across the pond to Mr. Gareth for this week's Trophy Rarity Update.
Go, mighty Gareth. Woo, 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 woo.
All right, and we're back. Thank you, Gareth, for the update. Appreciate it. I think this one was 21 minutes.
Doing great work as usual, and documenting Gield's climb up the ladder for the Trophy Rarity Contest.
Almost top 5. We've almost got 2 trophy wars in the top 5.
I read his Facebook update. If you guys are not in the Facebook group or in the Trophy Looting group, go read his updates, because they're
hilarious.
That's the I
I
wait to see how he roasts me every week.
It's like a Sports Center update.
I wait to see how he roasts me every week, and I didn't see it this week. But I didn't earn any trophies, but somebody told me I moved up some spots on my legacy trophies. So
yeah, you did.
All right. So sorry. take a week off and I get discombobulated here. We're going to throw it to our listener, our Facebook questions. I forgot which button it is, and that's the button.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
All right, we're going to do the questions in reverse order this week, just to change it up. Matt G wants to know, who do you think would win in a fight, a xenomorph or a necromorph? Yil, will go to you first.
Well, considering I have no idea which one either one is, considering it's probably from Dead Space, I'll just go with whatever Alex says.
All right, Alex?
I mean, I'm going to go with the xenomorph. The xenomorph is far more tactile. Like it's a better tactician. It's also more agile.
Let me pause you for a second. Can you explain us the difference between the two?
The xenomorph is the aliens from Aliens.
Oh, see, I haven't watched Aliens either.
The necromorph are the creatures from Dead Space. And, granted, there are different necromorphs. So, I mean, the Brute is something that would stand up better against, the xenomorphs than most other things. But the xenomorph is, like I said, more agile, probably smarter, whereas, like, the necromorphs are more like zombies. They're just they thirst for blood, and they're coming after you. The xenomorph knows how to hide. So, and, it's to me it's a much more a scarier creature. I mean, the whole point of Alien Isolation was the fact that you had to hide from the xenomorph because you couldn't fight against it. So, or at least you couldn't match up to it one-on-one. You had to use more clever tactics in hiding. And the xenomorph has been pitted against the Predator in in the movie universe. So I would say Predator and xenomorph are tiers above the necromorphs. The necromorphs are dangerous, but not as dangerous as a xenomorph. So I'd have to go with the xenomorph.
All right, you're going to go with that. I don't have an answer either because I could care less about either one. So I don't have an answer.
Look, one of our listeners posed this question. You could at least put something together. Come on. Don't. You're basically saying you don't care about the listener's question.
I'm going to go necromorph because the xenomorph got destroyed by the Predator.
But you also have to say, would the Predator destroy necromorphs? Because the Predator has the ability to camouflage.
It's the ultimate hunting machine.
I think.
It's got technology. It's got camouflage. So, a necromorph wouldn't stand a chance.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Predator would win.
But the Predator is not part of the equation.
I said necromorph because how fast a xenomorph would die to a Predator. I also think a necromorph would put up more of a fight towards the Predator. So I'm saying necromorph. Because I think xenomorphs are a bunch of pussies.
All right, we'll see how much you get hate you get for that comment. But like I said, there are varying, necromorphs.
Matt G says in the chat, got it. We'll never ask a question again because Tricky doesn't care. I care. I just don't know enough of the backstory to give you an honest answer. I'm sorry.
Have you never seen any of the Aliens movies?
The only Alien movie I've ever seen was Alien vs. Predator.
I have not seen any of them, and I did not know that was the technical term for the alien. So look, I'm at least a little fluent in it. Once I realized that I was explained that was the alien, but still, not enough to give a smart answer.
I can't force you guys to watch these movies, but before you all die, you all should watch the first Alien. Ridley Scott's Alien, which is a sci-fi, like, suspenseful horror movie. It's not an action movie. And then watch Aliens, James Cameron's Aliens, which is James Cameron's best movie. I don't care about any of these other movies. Aliens is phenomenal. It's a sci-fi action movie.
What about Avatar?
Got what's his name? Bill
Paxton? Murray?
Paxton. He's one of the Space Marines in that. And the guy Kyle from Terminator, I can't remember his name, but he's also one of the Space Marines. Phenomenal movie. Like, just before you guys die, put those on your bucket list. If you don't like horror movies, okay, fine, I get it, but they are very good movies. Just watch the first two. Don't care about the rest.
All right.
But they are good movies.
All right. The question from Gareth.
This is a good one.
We've all used the PlayStation 5 interface for a while now. Have you gotten used to it and are happy with it, or are they just still things you change to improve it? And if so, what? Yield, I know you have a lot to say about this, so I'm going to throw it to Alex first.
Good.
Mine's pretty simple. I mean, like, navigating, because everything is so built in and so interactive is not the right word, dummy, but because everything is so seamless and you can move so quickly between menus, like going from the interface to the store. Like navigating the store at one point was difficult for me because I always was like get popped out back to the main interface. So navigating to that and getting the swing of that, getting the hang of that has made things much easier on me. I'm better at doing that. So, I'm a simple man with simple pleasures. I don't really have a lot of big complaints with the ways everything's set up. It's fine with me. I like it. And I do like how they broke down things with the games and the media tabs up at the top. Easy to navigate those. And I really have no issues. But just for me, like getting used to going to the store and staying within the store without popping back out to the main interface was my biggest issue.
All right, Yield, the floor is yours.
So while I agree with Alex, getting into the PlayStation Store, navigating the PlayStation Store, the fact that they added a wish list, I really like that. Other than that, I'm still getting used to the fact that I got to hit the home button or the PlayStation button every time to get to all of my other menu options, to look at my trophies, party chat, all that, my messages. That is kind of annoying to me. The biggest annoyance to me is the fact that I can't change my background. So I got to have whatever Sony is pumping to me or whatever I've recently played. And while I don't mind when I highlight a game and it puts up a big picture of that game, that I like. But when I'm doing other things on the system and they're like, hey, watch this streamer because you played Rocket League. Hey, watch this random video. Hey, look at this cosplayer. I'm just like, I don't care. I'm here to play games. I'm not here to do all that other interactive stuff. But that's me. That's not everybody else. So I'm a minority in this, and the majority have won out.
See, and me, because I use so much technology and so many different interfaces, the PlayStation 5 interface only bothered me, if I want to use that word, when I first got it, because it was different from what the PS4 had, but I've gotten used to it. The only thing about the interface that annoys me, and I think they even do this on the 4, is they sometimes push ads to your cross media bar, and I don't think they should be doing that. Try this game, or I don't know if it happened on the 4 or the 5, but they downloaded a game onto my system that they thought I'd be interested in and said, play this game, and then you go to play it, and it's like, oh, no, you got to buy it first. Don't force download games onto my system. I don't like that at all. But the interface never really bothered me. I quickly got used to it. I mean, there are some annoyances, like every so often I'll forget that you had to hold down the PlayStation button to get to this menu, or you just tap it, you get to a different menu. There's 2 different menus, that depending on if you press the button long enough is what menu you get. There are annoyances, don't get me wrong. Am I happy with it? I don't know if I'm happy with it is the right word, but I'm fine with it. Like, it doesn't...
There could be some fine-tuning done to it.
Absolutely. But would I say I'm happy with it? No. Am I okay with it? Yes. So
let me ask you a question. When you're shutting the console down, you're putting it in rest mode or sleep mode or whatever, or powering it off. So you have to hold down the PS button, and then you go to log out, and it takes you back to that screen with all the other, all the accounts that are on there, and then you can from there go down and press shut off. I don't even do that. I don't go back to the menu with all the different accounts on it. Is there a way to just one step shut it down? Because you could do that with every other console. In this one, I feel like I have to take the extra step.
No, you could. See, now this is where I'm going to get into it, because I'm turning my system on right now just to confirm this. I don't know if you just press the PlayStation button or you hold down the PlayStation button, but it brings up whatever brings up the bottom menu. If you just go all the way to the right, you can just shut it off.
Okay, good to know, because that's one thing that's kind of it's not terrible, but it's kind of an annoyance to where it's I'll go through this extra menu. I will say that with all the new PlayStation interface, I love the it was at first hard to find when you take screenshots in a game, which everyone knows I love taking in-game screenshots. Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima, these games look beautiful. Of course, I want to take pictures of them. But
Okay.
it was hard to find the media gallery at first. And I feel like they could have done, as much as they want people to share, like they have screenshots go straight to the PlayStation app and you can download them to your phone from there or your computer. And the fact that they want everyone to share all this stuff, having the media gallery kind of hidden away was something that I was a little more than annoyed with. I mean, I can find it now, but I think they could definitely do better to highlight your media gallery.
All right, I just confirmed if you're in the game, right? You're in your game, you just hit the PlayStation button, just tap it, and just press down and then press all the way to the right. You can just shut off your power that way.
Okay, I see it now. Okay.
Okay. So now we're going to go into everybody's favorite topic. And of course, I'm saying that with sarcasm.
I was going to say, you better be sarcastic when you say that.
Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit of the merger. But this doesn't involve Activision Blizzard. This is more in the terms of Bethesda. But,
Okay, so why is Bethesda with the merger?
Okay, so that's why these two are related, is because what Sony's saying about Bethesda is why Sony's so against Activision Blizzard. Okay, let me get into the topic, then you'll understand what I'm saying here.
Okay.
All right, so this article is coming from PlayStationLifestyle.net and is written by Rebecca Smith. The latest round of documents pertaining to the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal has emerged, and one other new revelation has come out of them is Sony's convinced Elder Scrolls 6 will be exclusive to Xbox. This statement was made as part of the reason why Sony believes Microsoft could make Call of Duty exclusive in the future. Sony has already stated that they do not trust Microsoft's exclusivity statements because of how Bethesda games have been handled since the company's acquisition in 2021. While Microsoft did not make any previously released games exclusive to Xbox, the upcoming Starfield will only be released on the Xbox Series and PC, and according to Sony, Elder Scrolls 6 will be an Xbox exclusive. Quote, Microsoft is fond of arguing with its prior acquisitions it did not make the existing already released games it acquired exclusive to Xbox, but the foreclosure concern in this case is not about past releases of Call of Duty. It's about the impact of Microsoft making the new Call of Duty releases, which are launched every year, exclusive, as it has done for the new release of Starfield and Elder Scrolls following the acquisition of ZeniMax in 2021. As per PF's explain, these releases were announced in 2018 and were not expected at the time to be Xbox exclusives. It was only after acquiring ZeniMax that Microsoft's Phil Spencer revealed that all along the deal had been about, quote, delivering great exclusive games, end quote, for Xbox. That's the end of the quote. Officially, platforms have not been confirmed for Elder Scrolls 6 yet. Xbox CEO Phil Spencer has previously hinted that the game could be an Xbox exclusive, although previous documents submitted during the arguments have hinted that the game may come to PS5 after all. Either way, you can see why Sony may be worried about the future of Call of Duty. So, this article, this conversation, I don't want it to be about the merger, so to speak, but Sony does bring up a point that when these games were announced, Starfield, Redfall, and Elder Scrolls, it was before Microsoft bought them, and although they never explicitly said whether it was going to be exclusive or it was coming to both consoles or 3 consoles, you have to understand that Sony has a point in this saying, it was advertised we're going to be getting Starfield, we're going to be getting Redfall, we're going to be getting Elder Scrolls. Now that Microsoft has bought them, they've made the decision, which is within their right, to make them exclusive. If that's the case, and 2 out of 3 games already have been confirmed exclusive, why wouldn't Microsoft do this to Call of Duty? So I'll open up the floor. Yield, I'll let you start.
So, I mean, that is a safe and valid argument. The one thing I want to say is, weren't the original Elder Scrolls games Xbox exclusive? It was just a couple in the middle that they made multi-console. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really an Elder Scrolls guy.
I will Google it, but I was never an Elder Scrolls guy either, but I will look it up.
I could be wrong. I thought they were more of an Xbox thing up until maybe the 3 and then they trickled over. Yeah, that's kind of about it. I mean, I can see their argument, and I can't really say that's a dumb argument because it's not. But
Okay, so I have a list of their games.
okay,
Elder Scrolls Arena was PC. Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall was PC. Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire was PC. Elder Scrolls Adventure of Redguard was PC. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind was PC and Xbox. Elder Scrolls 3 Tribunal was PC. Elder Scrolls 3 Blood Moon was PC. Elder Scrolls Travels Shadowkey NG. I don't know what that is. NG? I don't know. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion was 360 PC and PS3. Elder Scrolls 4 Knights of the Nine was PC. Elder Scrolls 4 Shivering Isles was 360 and PC. Skyrim was 360 PC and PS3. Skyrim
it's on your toaster.
Skyrim Dawnguard was PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Hearthfire was 360 and PS3. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Dragonborn was PS3, PC, and 360. Elder Scrolls Online was PC, and Elder Scrolls Legends was PC and iOS. So, the only Elder Scrolls game that I see on this that was Xbox exclusive, which I'm just taking a guess here, was DLC, not actual full games.
Well, 3 was.
Well, 3.
Xbox
I'm sorry,
and
3.
PC.
3. Yeah, 3.
And then there was one after 3. The Skyrim series was multi-console. And that sounds about it. There might have been one other one.
Well, okay. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion was 360 PC and PS3, and then there's 2 other things for Elder Scrolls 4: Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles, which were Shivering Isles was 360. The other one was just PC only. Main games, I think from 4 on, but I don't know if you want to say the first 3 were exclusive, unless you want to say they were PC exclusive.
So,
I don't know. Like, I think Sony makes a point here to say that we can't trust that Microsoft is going to do their deal. I mean, me personally, like Sony's getting a lot of shit right now because they're saying that Microsoft offered them a 10-year deal to bring Call of Duty to the PlayStation. I'm sorry, maybe I'm being a Sony fanboy here, but I look at that only as Microsoft saying, hey, listen, we offered the olive branch. They decided not to take it. And after 10 years, we can do whatever the hell we want. So, I don't know if Sony's getting the right amount of hate for this. Alex, your thoughts, sir?
It's really hard for Sony to make this argument when the biggest draw of their consoles is the exclusive games that the companies that they own make. And they have themselves purchased a lot of studios. The reason Sony's as strong as they are first party is because they purchased pretty much all of their studios or the lion's share of them. So Sony has to be really careful making this argument because their future purchases, Microsoft can turn around and be like, hey, if they're going to buy this group, then we can't let them do that because
because we can't have
because they may turn
Spider-Man
these games exclusive. They can't buy Capcom because they may turn Resident Evil and DMC. Yeah. So they need to be really careful with this argument because it could easily be used against them. But I mean, Destiny was a game they bought Bungie, but Destiny is going to remain multi-platform, and I think that's part of the deal is that Bungie wanted to be a part of Sony, but also retain some autonomy and keep their stuff multi-platform. So that was probably part of that deal. Now going forward, Sony may keep more things multi-platform because of antitrust issues and trying to avoid that. But the question isn't whether Microsoft is going to turn any of these games exclusive to their console, or whether they're going to put them on Game Pass or whatever. The question is does this purchase make it difficult for other people within the games industry to conduct business? Is Microsoft with this purchase can become so strong that it's going to hurt the overall competitiveness of the video games industry? And Sony's not proving that point and not even addressing that with this argument. They're just saying, well, they may turn this stuff exclusive. Okay, but the games industry is, billions and billions of dollars, and it doesn't all revolve around Call of Duty, regardless of whether Call of Duty is the top of the charts at some point every year or not. Look at Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is in some cases still outselling Call of Duty, the newest Call of Duty release. So clearly, everything doesn't hinge upon Call of Duty. So I don't think this argument, is Sony right? They could do that? Sure. But also, who cares? Because that's not the question at hand when talking about the merger. It's clearly, I just think, it just makes Sony look worse by crying about this, because it's like, well, Sony, you have so many exclusives that you keep because they're your first-party studios. How do you expect everyone else to buy studios and then keep everything on your console? So I thought this just Sony's looked foolish with that argument this entire time. I don't think it helps their case.
Okay.
Well,
go ahead.
I didn't think about that. What Alex says is right.
I'm sorry.
The only reason Xbox is lacking from their from the One to now the XS. Did I say that right? One X. Anyway, you get what I'm saying.
Just say the Xbox Series.
Yeah, the Series. From the One to the Series is their lack of exclusives. And we've all kind of poked fun at them, since they've bought all these studios up, besides Starfield that's set to come out this year, tell me an exclusive that's come out of all the studios that they bought. They've got Starfield. I'm giving you one.
Redfall.
What's Redfall?
Because
I haven't heard of that. I've heard of Starfield.
I'm Googling just to
Tricky had mentioned it earlier about a game that was supposed to come out from Bethesda and it was going to be multi-platform, but Microsoft decided to keep it as an exclusive now. I think the one other game that I could point to is Psychonauts. Psychonauts was a crowdfunded game that was announced before Double Fine was ever purchased by Microsoft, but there was a time where that game was still in development when they were under Microsoft, so I think that people would count that as a Microsoft game studio, Psychonauts 2.
Well, I meant exclusive. So we ended up getting Psychonauts 2.
Because it was crowdfunded, and you can't be like, okay, well, we're gonna, this was multi-platform, and because we had people put their money into it, we can't then turn it to an exclusive because some of the people would have put money into it with the idea that it's going to also be on other consoles.
All right, so Redfall, I just Googled it, and I put a link into the chat for you, Yield.
Yeah, I'm trying to load it right now. It's another Bethesda game. Okay.
Yeah. What? Where'd it go? I just lost it.
I'm sorry.
No. It's a first-person shooter video game. It's developed by Arcane Studios, Austin, and published by Bethesda. It's coming out in May of this year. But going back to your argument, Alex, I think the hole in your argument comes down to Sony is producing their games internally, where the argument to be made by Sony in this case is that they're taking a powerhouse of a game, and we can't deny that Call of Duty is not a powerhouse of the game. They're taking a powerhouse of the game and potentially making that exclusive. To stay in your little argument there, that's like Sony turning around and buying 2K and then making Grand Theft exclusive and taking it away from Xbox. I think the same argument can be made is that these games were multi-console, they are powerhouse sellers, and now we're making them exclusive. Now, is that a strong enough argument to stop the merger? I don't think it is. Because I think Sony, as much as they are worried, are going to be just fine with their exclusive games and probably step up their fucking game to get their first-person shooters off the market. But I think the only hole in your argument is that Microsoft didn't internally develop Call of Duty and they're just buying a powerhouse, where Sony turns around and says, we are making our powerhouses and we're keeping them exclusive, but they've always been exclusive. That's the only argument that I would make to what you said, Alex.
But again, they have to be careful with that argument, because I guarantee someone at Microsoft wrote that down, because if they do try to purchase a company with a long-running series and then they try to make that long-running series exclusive, Microsoft's going to be like, hey, remember what y'all said about this? So
Oh no, it's definitely a slippery slope.
I think it's a paper thin argument, and it can be used against them in the future.
It's definitely a slippery slope because this could backfire on Sony. But I mean that's the only comparison I would make. Yield. What do you think about what I said about Alex's argument? Do you think I have some validity in what I'm saying or no?
Sorry, I was watching the Redfall trailer. Give me a synopsis of what you just said.
Basically, I said I think that the hole in Alex's argument is that by Microsoft buying Call of Duty, which is a powerhouse sale, so, like he argued that it could backfire on Sony because Sony has exclusives that they keep exclusive, but they developed those internally, where Microsoft went out and bought a powerhouse title and now could potentially make that exclusive. And I said, and in comparison, that's like Sony buying 2K and then making Grand Theft Auto 6 exclusive to the PlayStation.
Not being business smart, I guess I would say. I would say that you have an argument with that argument, or you have a strong base with that argument. Personally, I agree with Alex in the sense of if Sony was to lose Call of Duty, it's not a big of a deal as we're making. I shouldn't say we. It's not a big of a deal as Sony's making it out to be, in my personal opinion, because Sony's got a strong enough exclusive library that just because Call of Duty went exclusive, it'll hurt them. Oh, it would definitely hurt them. But it's not going to be the end of Sony.
Well, I also said that. Well, I think they're too worried about losing Call of Duty. But I think that if they do lose Call of Duty, it'd make them step up their game and come out with their own first-person shooters to compete with.
Exactly, and I'm almost saying that they're making a mountain out of a molehill, and that's kind of a strong exaggeration because this really isn't a molehill. But it's not the big mountain that they're making it out to be either. Anyway, I was watching the trailer for Redfall, and it looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, but it's exclusive to Xbox now.
That's okay. Okay, so. Might be unrelated to the topic, but I'm going to say this anyway. Good exclusives for Xbox is good for everybody. If you want to follow me down this trail.
Okay.
Good exclusives for Xbox, in essence, would probably stir up the old console wars again. Gaming, at its best, maybe, was during the console wars. Because you had exclusives on both sides that you wanted to play. So you either sided with one or you sided with the other. Now, we're at the age where if Microsoft were to produce enough exclusives, I would consider buying an Xbox, and then I could play both. But exclusives will drive the industry, because like you said, if Sony was to lose Call of Duty, they would develop their own war-ish first-person shooter that would rival Call of Duty for the PlayStation fan base. And then those two games, in essence, would go at war with each other to be the game gamers want to play. So I feel that it would help the industry. While Sony is still not going lax on their storytelling, because that's what makes their exclusives really good is their inclusive is probably not the right word, but their stories, they're story-driven games. If Xbox were to start pumping out good story-driven games, it would push Sony to be even better, and then vice versa. So, just my opinion here, but
yeah, I mean, just to bring it to something that we all love, like wrestling. Like, I think, even though I don't like AEW, I think having AEW around is
good for the business.
Is good for WWE because it's causing Triple H to
have better stories.
Correct. And right now, arguably, you could say the Bloodline is probably the best storyline in wrestling right now. Now, arguably, I'm not trying to start up a wrestling war, But
No, but I get what. No, you're right.
that the whole thing with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline, I think it's great.
Well, I mean, look at the pop when Sami Zayn and Owens hugged each other on Friday on SmackDown.
Oh,
like,
see,
when
you spoiled it.
The,
I was watching
Well,
SmackDown before the show. I didn't get to that part
well, the
yet.
crowd was chanting "hug it out," and they did, and they got a monster pop. I mean, it's in contention probably for the biggest pops of all time, I'll say.
Well,
But
think of the pop when Zayn hit Reigns in the back with the chair at the the Rumble?
Yeah, it was at the no. Just watch this because the pop is. I mean, that
This
was a
pop-
big one too, but this one arguably is bigger.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I saw the highlight. The place went nuts.
I mean, just I think competition breeds creativity because everybody wants to step up their game. Everybody wants to do, better because they want to beat the other side. I know you said many times the console wars are dead. I don't think they are. I think as gamers, we may have laxed on arguing with each other, but I think the console wars are extremely in effect still.
Well, they've definitely heated up with the acquisitions. All right, because now you can see battle lines are being drawn, whereas before everybody was, not everybody, but the vast majority of everybody was living in the multi-platform universe, right?
Right.
I will make it. Well, now we don't necessarily have that. Everybody's gotten bought up since COVID. All right, come under our umbrella. All right. Sony is well known since the 4, well, the end of the 3, into the 4, of pumping out just these story-driven exclusives, and Xbox just hasn't been there. That's what we've said. We've said this, the weakest part of Xbox's lineup is the fact that they don't have any powerhouse exclusives. Halo has kind of got, well, I shouldn't say kind of, Halo's gotten stale. And that's really all you have with Xbox. Starfield. Now, this is going to be something that's going to hopefully stir things. Oh, they also had Sea of Thieves. So you got Sea of Thieves, Halo's gotten stale. They need these studios that they've bought up to pump out some exclusives that make you go, man, I want to play that, I mean, we were all bummed when they bought Ninja Theory because we wanted to see
The new Hellblade.
Hellblade 2, right? The last I heard, ain't no one talked about it in a long time.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make when you were done. Alex, you started saying something.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think that, I mean, one game series that I will say that Yield failed to mention was probably their best game series, their most consistent one. That's Forza. I think that's.
Oh, okay. I forgot that. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't think they've handled their owned IP very well, but I think that's the one example that you can point to that you can say, okay, they've done this very well, and Turn 10 has done that very well as the studio that develops it. But that's all I was going to say.
You are right. That is probably one of the best, or considered one of the best racing sims.
Yeah, and just in comparison, I mean, Sony does have their own wrestling sim in Gran Turismo, but Forza obviously blows it out of the water every year.
Yes.
The other thing I just forgot my other point I was going to make. You brought up Hellblade, and I'm like, yeah, when that got announced, all of us were bummed because we wanted to see, the next Hellblade, and then, like you said, I think Microsoft is bumbling that because when was the last time we heard anything about Hellblade?
It's the last time I saw something about it was somebody posted an article kind of about it's gone quiet. They've gone dark, so to speak.
Matt G in the chat says, maybe Sony should put Spider-Man 2 as a good faith gesture to the newfound non-exclusivity platform. I don't think... I was about to say, I don't think PlayStation has that right because it's Sony, but you said Sony. Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. I know that. In digital media form. As far as video games and movies. I don't know. I think exclusive games, I think it breeds competition, and that's good for the industry. But, obviously, and this is just me being jaded, I think it sucks when an exclusive game goes to a console that I don't own, because now I feel like I got to buy that console to...
like Hellblade.
Yeah, But see, okay, and this is just a thought, and I'm not trying to dig at Microsoft here, but even when Hellblade comes out, I don't feel the need to go buy a series because I can just play it on my PC. I can spend the $60, get a Xbox controller, and play it on my PC, and I don't have to worry about that. So,
No.
See, this is why it bothers me a little bit on the fact of when Sony's making this argument is because even if Call of Duty does go exclusive, you know they're going to put it on PC and you can still play it. Now, granted, you have to have a gaming PC or somewhat equivalent to play it to its highest qualities, but I don't think there's enough people out there that own a killer PC rig that's gonna be able to play it at the highest settings.
Correct. I know I don't.
Right. I mean, the PC sitting next to me. I'm not saying this to brag or anything. I spent nearly $3,000 on this PC, and I've had it 5 years now.
Is that your multicolored water cooled one?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I've had it 5 years, and it can still probably run Warzone at its highest specs. Now I think I'm maybe 1 or 2 generations behind on the graphics card, but that's simply just go out and hope to find one because they're so rare to find them. But go out and get another graphics card, up the RAM a little bit, and I'm good to go. Maggie says Insomniac Spider-Man. Yeah, I know what you were talking about. But I think Insomniac got that because of Sony's exclusivity with Spider-Man. I don't know. It sounded like somebody was about to say something and I cut him off.
No, I was going to say, that I was agreeing with you.
Oh. All right. So at this time, unless you guys have any further comments, I think we could wrap up the show.
Sure.
I think we're safe.
Okay. So a little housekeeping before we officially close out the show and do our shout outs. I will not be here next week. I am going to PAX East. I am going to be gone for the entire weekend. So you're going to have Alex, Yield, and Daryl on the show covering whatever information they cover from PAX. It's going to be sent to them by me, and they may not have all the information. So
bear with us.
Yeah, bear with them because I'm going to be going from meeting to meeting to meeting, and I might not have time to give them the full information. So if something gets dropped next week on the show, do not blame them. Just blame the fact that, it's if you've ever been to a PAX, it's kind of crazy. You've been to a PAX.
How is it looking?
How is it looking?
As in, how do I want to say this? I mean, I know your book, but
I have 43 appointments in 4 days.
With who you're going to see?
Yes.
Is there anything possible of interest that we'd be excited about?
That's a hard question to answer.
It is. I know it's because we got to stay vague but okay. Well, is there any interesting developers that you're talking to?
Yes.
There, I'll put it that way.
Yes, but I can't tell you who they are. I can't tell you who they are, and I can't tell you what they are, what games they're making because I've had to sign
an NDA,
14 NDAs at this point, and I'm still waiting back from other people making points. But I have I think it's over 40 appointments in the 4 days.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to be running back to back to back.
Well, hopefully we get some good stuff. Well, hopefully you didn't overbook yourself to the point where it sounds like you already did.
Yeah.
That you will actually be able to go to the show floor and enjoy yourself.
Well, you've been to PAX with me.
I have been to PAX with you. You don't enjoy yourself.
I do not enjoy myself.
You enjoy yourself by going and interviewing people.
I think the best part of PAX, which I'm unfortunately not going to be able to do this year, is when I take everybody out to dinner. We could just sit back, relax, and just have a good night. I forget the year you went where we went to dinner.
Well, the one we went to, I don't remember what year it was. I'd have to look up stuff. We went to Wahlburgers.
Oh, did you go to Almanove with us? That's the restaurant across the street from Wahlburgers?
Or maybe that's where we went.
Yeah, Almanove I think we went to.
Yeah, because the goddess wanted to go.
Yes, and one year I took Luke and Troy. We went to Ruth Chris. and twice we've gone to rock bottom.
And I made you guys stop at Friendlies.
Yes, you did.
I did.
And you weren't there. Okay, so the year you went was you and Donnie.
Yes.
Okay, so
because all of us were supposed to be there. Alex had some unfortunate family things that popped up, and he was not unable to come.
Yeah. I think my favorite PAX moment so far is me, Troy, and Luke were in the car going back to the hotel, and there was a guy in a wheelchair in front of us in the turn lane. And one of us made the comment, says, this guy can't be going on the highway. Sure enough, the light turned green. That mofo hit the motor on his wheelchair and was doing 40 miles an hour down the highway. In a wheelchair. Get it, Alex.
We're all playing checkers and he's playing chess. I hope he got to where he wanted to go safely. Because
there was a hospital literally across the street from where we saw him, so we kind of thought like he was making a jailbreak. But whatever he had on that wheelchair, that mofo was moving.
Yeah, got something from the Fast and the Furious movie set. If you're gonna make a jailbreak, clearly you're in Boston. You don't have to get on the highway. Clearly, there's other places to get away. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I just hope that guy got safely to wherever he's supposed to go.
I'm also thinking like if you're making a jailbreak, I don't think you're stopping for red lights. Just put it out
He
there.
doesn't want to draw attention to himself.
The guy was in a hospital gown.
You better stop at red lights if you're in a wheelchair, because if you don't, you're liable to get hit by a car. And
well, this was a left turn lane at a red light to go onto the highway, and the guy was in a hospital gown. So, no. Anyway, and somebody else was making a remark about how many Dunkin' Donuts there were around, because in the area from the hotel to the convention, I think we counted there was 20 different Dunkin' Donuts in that span. Just in one direction.
Cannibalizing your sales.
Just in one direction. We never counted the other direction. All right, anyway, so yes, I'm not going to be here next week. It's going to have Daryl as my replacement. So there probably won't be a live show unless I can get either Alex Yield or Daryl to set up the Twitch stream, which I think would just be too much of a process. So probably won't be a live show next week. But, of course, the YouTube video. Oh, speaking of YouTube. Sorry, my fault. Alex, you asked me to do this, and I totally forgot. Hold on. Gotta hit the button again.
YouTube question?
Yep, gotta hit the button again.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
I was hoping the sound would, last a little long so I can get to the comment in time. Our videos, hold on. I'm getting there. I'm hitting there. I'm getting there. Okay, so this comment is coming from episode 561, which was right after the State of Play. Doc Chicken 13 says, I think microtransactions are okay for cosmetics, especially for smaller developers that could really utilize the extra cash. But I do agree that big companies like Rockstar are going down the drain because there are too many suckers who drain their bank accounts into stuff like GTA Online. Rockstar had no incentive to fund other projects because why add competition to their cash cow? Microtransactions, along with exclusive deals, have also destroyed most sports games, especially Madden, but that's more due to the NFL's greed with the awful EA exclusivity since 2005. If we could only go back to the days of NFL 2K and Madden competing, those 2005 iterations were classics that were better than any subsequent NFL game. The card modes in sports games are also insanely predatory, and parents need to make sure their kids aren't falling into that trap. So, Alex, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think that developers and publishers need to be careful with microtransactions and giving the advantage, to people who can afford to spend the money. All you're going to do, I'm sure you may make a little extra money off people, but you're certainly going to dry up your user base because people are going to see it as, the old phrase, pay to win. And who really wants to be a part of that? People want to be better based on their skill. They want to do well based on their skill. They don't want to have to pay money to be just for, arbitrarily. So it's like, okay, well, now I have access to this gun. So even though I'm good enough to play this game, I now have the tools I need to be better than other people. And so I think that most people try to avoid that, and so cosmetics are the easy way to go. We all like customization to some degree, maybe not like customize entire worlds, but we definitely do like to make our character our own so that they feel different and unique from another character or from everybody else playing that game. So it makes sense, what was said.
Yield?
Yeah, I agree with the microtransactions for cosmetics, but definitely not a pay-to-win type deal. I believe I agree with him where I am more acceptable with it when it's a smaller studio because they're trying to generate cash flow for themselves. Whereas when it's a bigger studio, it just feels like you just want a piece of their pie that they're trying to survive, and you're fine with the game that you're making, and now you're trying to bleed more money out of it. I hope that made some sense.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
To me, sorry, I kind of cut you off there, but just real quick, I think it also matters if the game has a long-term plan, like if it's a game, a live service game where am I buying these cosmetics that I can use in this game for years to come, and not just like, hey, you can purchase these cosmetics, so once you get done playing through the single-player game, you're done with them. So, I think that matters, having a plan for the future for this game if you're going to sell cosmetics, because people buy them and they want to be able to use them for a while.
See, you bring up cosmetics, and just to wrap it back to like the Division 2. The Division 2 right now has an apparel event going on in which there are 36 things to unlock. I think so. I think it's 36. But you get a cache key to open up a cache every 4 levels. So if you do the math, that's quite a lot to have to level up to unlock everything. And there's an exclusive item behind that. Now, you don't need to buy what they call the pass to get that stuff, but you spend $10 and you get like 100 rows of things you can get. You get one thing for every level, but on the free level, you only get like every 5 levels or so you get something. I don't have like... I don't have a problem with microtransactions if it's not pay to win. I think I agree with both the boys on this. If it's not pay to win, I have no problem with microtransactions, because ultimately I feel like you have the power to, if this isn't worth it to you, don't buy it.
Don't buy it, yeah.
How many times have you guys have said, I don't know if I'm going to buy the Rocket Pass this time for Rocket League because there's not enough things on there that I want. So,
yes, correct.
So I don't have a problem with microtransactions. I don't have a problem with developers putting them in the games. Do I think they could be predatory? Yes. Do I think it kind of promotes gambling? Maybe. But ultimately, you are the gamer. You don't have to do it. And he also brought up a point about parents and their kids. I'm sorry. It may be a hot take, but you're the fucking parent. Don't give your kids your credit card. Simple as that. Sweet Mama D has never bought anything on the PlayStation Network without my approval. And even when she calls, like, she gets an allowance from me, and she calls me up and says, hey, Dad, I'm playing something on the Switch. I want to buy something. And she goes, can I use my credit card? And I said, absolutely not. I said, I will use your card. I will buy a eShop card, and then you can put the code in. But you're not to put your credit card on on the internet. For various reasons, other than, somebody could hack it and steal it and all the other shit. But she, I teach her responsibility with her money. And I tell her, you get X amount of dollars every week. You want to spend 75% of that on something in a game, that's fine. But don't call me up in a week and in a couple of days and say, hey, I want to get something at the store and I don't have enough money. You got to learn the value of the dollar. You're the parent. You make that choice. I'm off my soapbox. All right, so we're done with the comment on this. Anybody have any final things to say?
Was there anything else you needed to do too? That Alex was reminding you.
Alex,
there was a YouTube question.
We got that.
Was there another one? I thought there was something else.
He didn't introduce Sid and Gareth last week. There's no Sid this week, and I introduced Gareth, so we're good. Oh, hi, Gareth. You're in the chat.
Hi, Gareth.
So I'm making an announcement.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know how much Alex and Yield are aware of this, But there's been a run-in contest in the Twitch chat that if you type a hidden word, you get a $100 PSN card. And the longest time, nobody's typed that word, which I find funny because it's a very common word that somebody would say in a Twitch chat, but nobody's ever gotten to it. So here's my announcement. I'm going to PAX. The first person to find me and tell me the New York Rangers goalie's name is going to win a $100 PSN card. If nobody finds me in the 4 days, I'm going to up the Twitch chat goal to 2 $100 PSN cards. So you can either find me and tell me the goalie's name, which is easy to do.
Dominic Hasek. I win. What do I win?
1, you have to be at PAX. 2, Dominic Hasek retired a long time ago. And 3, he played for the Buffalo Sabres.
Damn right. Hey, but it's still New York.
No, that's Canada.
That's the state of New York. Shut up.
That's state of New York.
No, anything above the 5 boroughs is Canada.
Act like you went to school and you learned geography.
I did. Anything above the Bronx is Canada.
You know, actually, I could believe that they would teach that in New York schools.
They probably do. I don't know. Anyway, so find me, win a $100 PSN card. All you have to do is tell me the goalie for the New York Rangers. And no, I'm not going to give you his name now. You actually have to do some work and find it. And not the backup goalie. You have to tell me the starting goalie. With that being said, go check out our merch shop, Proven Gamer merchandise, hats. No hats, t-shirts. I got you excited there for a second, Yield. I'm sorry.
You did. I was like, ooh, hats?
T-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, mouse pads, cups, bath mats, all that stuff.
Zip up hoodies or just pullover hoodies?
Zip up and pullover.
Is it tagged on the Facebook group? Like pinned at the top?
It is not. But I can get you a link and I will pin it there.
You should pin it to the top of the Facebook group.
Probably should. Any proceeds for the month of April? Well, you know what? I'll extend it. Any proceeds from the end of March, from now until May 1st, any proceeds that we make are going to be donated to Extra Life. So go check that out. We do have a special shirt coming out, which I think is going to be a little controversial, but I think it's funny. And we may get sued for it. Just putting it out there.
You may get sued for it.
Yes.
I ain't getting sued for nothing.
I may get sued for it, but I think we changed the license just enough to avoid legalities.
Avoid copyright issues.
Are we talking about the Donkey Kong?
No, that's not Donkey Kong. Stop. We do have to come up with a name for him though.
Trophy Kong?
Do you have any idea what we're talking about?
A little bit now, maybe.
Remember the videos I showed you of the monkey walking across? Yeah, that's what he's talking about. He says, Alex says it looks like Donkey Kong.
Well, that's the first thing I thought of.
Oh my God. What am I going to do with you guys?
Come on.
I'm never taking you two. I'm never taking you two to commit a crime with me because you'll just knock right away. Yeah, it's Donkey Kong.
What other ape is in video games?
Cranky Kong. Diddy Kong.
That's still the same license. That's still the same property.
Still the same property.
King Kong.
If you think that I'm getting in trouble for one of your cockamamie schemes, whatever you're trying to do, no, I'm not going to be a part of that. So please do not include me.
Once we end the show, I'll tell you the idea, then you guys can tell me whether or not I should do it.
Also, I want to point out that usually you don't catch shit for trying to keep people out of a courtroom. You know, that's just what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep you from getting sued, sir.
But yeah, any proceeds until May 1st are going to go to Extra Life. We're going to start talking about Extra Life plans soon. I do want to give a shout out to Homer. This isn't my shout outs, but I want to give a shout out to Homer for finally paying up his bet through the help of Yield. Thank you, Yield, for helping that.
You're welcome.
But yeah, that's it.
I'm up 50%.
You're up 50%?
I want 50%.
Oh, you want to take money from the kids?
Finder's fee.
Finder's fee. There you go.
You try to take money out of the kids.
Finder's fee, man.
All right, so let's do shout outs. Yield, we'll start with you, sir.
Shout out to Alex, Nitro, and Riley for some Rocket League on Thursday. Shout out to Prepare Dire Scum, Homer gets stuffed, and Riley for some Diablo on Friday and Diablo 3 on Friday and Saturday night. We are currently working on our hardcore playthrough. So, unfortunately, Diablo 3 is not very many points in the rarity, but we're actually having fun playing through that game. A shout out to Nitro, Tricky, and JT for the Assassin's Creed 4 MP boost that we are doing. Shout out to Alex and Tricky for recording tonight. Shout out to Nitro, Matt G, and Gareth and anybody else who hung out in Twitch tonight. Shout out to Gareth for not only the rarity contest, but his updates that he does. I enjoy reading those every week, not only just to see how I did, but to see how everybody else did. So if you're not a part of that, hit Gareth up on the Facebook group. I think that's it for the moment.
You want to know how I know that we're running a little long on the show?
How?
When Neptune Princess 86 enters the Twitch chat.
Okay, what does that mean? Is that?
That's Ashley.
Oh.
This is when she comes in to say, end the show.
Come on, get off the show.
She said I'm just bored.
Do that, and we don't have The Last of Us to watch anymore because they wrapped up the season finale last week. Which, by the way, Tricky and Daryl on Proven Gamer Patreon, Trophy Wars, they did an episode with the finale wrap up.
We actually did all 9 episodes.
Well, I know, but that's just the most recent episode,
yes.
And you guys wrapped it up.
Yes. Actually, as she said in the chat, she's just bored. Haha. But I'm right. That's when she does enter. She goes, I finished all my books and yelled at the kids, and the dog is bugging me. Don't talk about Athena like that. Alex, your shout out, sir.
Finished all her books already. Alex, how many books did she buy? Because you were saying that you bought a lot of books.
I mean, she also rents books from the library digitally. She also buys books on her Kindle, and I bought her, I can't remember the name of the set, but I recently bought her a 3-book set, a collector's edition. I don't know. She got a book recently, another book recently, so she's got plenty to read. But it's like us and our platinum trophies. Like her reading her books is like us playing our games. So,
but fair enough.
Yep. So, except she's got something tangible. Like when someone asks about a book, she can be like, "Hey, I read this book," and she can show it to somebody. Whereas we're just like, "Hey, there's a digital thing here, a digital icon.
Go look at it."
PSN profiles. I want to give a shout out to the listeners, the fuel to the fire of this trophy horse. Thank you all for continuing to support the show because that is the lifeblood of the show. It's the only reason we're still around and we're still doing this. So thank you all for your continued support. Big shout out to Gareth for the annual rarity update. And a big shout out to Sid as well. I forgot to introduce both of them last week, so I had to do a post-edit. But big shout out to Sid because we love Sophie's Trophies and we always love hearing from him. So Sid, whenever you come back on, we'll welcome it. Give a shout out to Tricky and to Yield for recording tonight. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to my loving, awesome girlfriend, Ashley, who I don't know what... Yellow Jackets Season 2 comes out soon, but I don't know what we're going to watch until then. Maybe some Mandalorian. Maybe some You on Netflix. I don't know. But yeah.
Mandalorian.
Well, I mean, they come out, 1 episode a week. I think there's, 3 episodes out now?
Yes, 3 episodes.
So we get a little catching up to do, but yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, that is the kind of one of the beauties of the once a week, 1 episode a week kind of thing that Disney's doing. It's like you don't have to feel overwhelmed to finish something as soon as you can. You can just, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like being able to watch it at my leisure and as many episodes as I want to, but there's something like when you're behind and you want to get caught up, there's something about like, there's less stress attached to having to, the stress about watching TV. That sounds dumb, but.
So my wife and I are watching, needless to say, Mandalorian every Wednesday. We sit down and we watch the latest chapter. It's driving my wife nuts to have to watch these one at a time. To me, it gives me something to look forward to. Okay, good. Now Wednesday I get to watch Mandalorian, and since we're telling a story and we're telling multiple stories within our big story, it's driving her up the wall because she watches one episode and she's like, I want to know what happens next. Yes, I am talking about you. Yes, we're still recording.
Well, we're finishing it up. We don't want to get ourselves in trouble.
She heard me talking about her. She was like, "You're talking about me." Anyway,
Hey,
but
don't be mean to the Amy Meister.
I'm not being mean to her. But yeah, it's driving her up the wall to have to watch them a week at a time. I'm like, well, you can wait till the end of the season and then I can watch it again. I'm fine with that. I'm watching it a week at a time now.
Alice, did you finish your shout-outs?
Because a guy at work watches it too. So we come in and we're like, did you watch the latest episode? Let's talk about it. So,
Alice, you know what your shout-outs?
Yeah, I said to Ashley, and that's gonna be it.
Okay. Before I do my shout-outs, I just want to give a notice. You guys probably aware of this, but Lance Reddick, who is known in the gaming community as Silence in the Horizon series, he unfortunately passed away at the age of 60. I forgot to mention that earlier. Want to give a shout out to my thoughts and prayers out to his family. I never actually, now that I see his face, I never actually put him as Silence. I just remember him as the concierge in the John Wick movies.
Oh man, I did as soon as I saw him. I'm like, oh, that's the dude from Fringe.
He was in the John Wick series Oz. He was also in The Wire. So I never watched The Wire, but thoughts and prayers go out to his family. I liked him as an actor. I thought he did a phenomenal job.
You know, there is that tragedy of him passing away at 60. I mean, 60 is not old at all. It's still relatively young, especially in the medical age that we live in, where people live longer. So I hate to bring this up because just losing him is a tragedy. There are people that love him, there are people that care for him, and they lost him, and that's obviously the worst part about this. But I mean, we're going to kind of get on a topic here, but what does this mean for Horizon? Because obviously,
I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, our main bad guy isn't around no more.
Silence is one of those characters where you thought at the end of the first game he was a bad guy, but then when you get to the end of the second game, it's like, well, wait a minute, maybe there is some good to Silence, even if you kind of realize he does things for his own good to help himself, and it's not necessarily altruistic. But like they kind of left you with questions at the end of Horizon 2 whether Silence was completely terrible or not. But yeah, I mean, how do you handle this now?
Well, I think there's two ways you could handle it. One, they already have his mocap and his character design, so you could either find an actor that can do his voice, or similar to his voice. But I don't know if that would be disrespectful to him or his character. I mean, you could do that. I mean, look what they did with the Fast and the Furious series after Paul Walker died. He still made appearances in the future movies. He was played by his brothers, and they just digitally put Paul Walker's face on them. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but they can move on with the character. They just, they got to play it, or either that or just, write him off.
I don't think you can simply just write him off. I mean, there has to be some kind of explanation. But yeah,
he's kind of too big of a character to just. Yeah, he's not here.
Honestly, like after the tragedy of realizing that this person had died and understanding how terrible that is, I hate to say it, but that was my first thought. Okay. So what happens with Horizon now?
Yep.
Ditto, Alex. I'm with you.
Yeah, I don't think that's disrespectful, but yeah. So I want to give a shout out to all the listeners. Thank you very much. Shout out to everybody in the Twitch chat. Shout out to everybody I'm going to meet at PAX. If you see me at PAX, I'm just going to be clear about this.
Sorry.
And Yield can kind of back this up because I get a little crazy when I'm at PAX. If you see me at PAX and you say hi to me, I have no problem people approaching me and saying hi. But understand that if I can't stop and talk to you, it's because I'm busy and I'm on my way to something. Yield can back me up because there was a couple times Yield wanted to talk to me. I was like, yo, dude, I can't do it. I got to go.
Yeah, I can't do it. Got to go.
But
I will say, honestly, how many times have you been stopped at PAX? Because I was disappointed no one stopped us at PAX.
I've been stopped several times, including, okay, I kind of want to end the show, but... I got to tell the story. Did I ever tell you the story the first time I got recognized at PAX?
Not recalling off the top of my head.
Me and the Goddess were walking to a panel for a Kind of Funny panel. And we were just walking down the hall. And this is before, I put my face out there and, anything. Like, anybody knew me, just knew me by my name, my voice. I don't even think, anybody knew my real name out of the Facebook group. So anyway, me and the guys are just walking down, and You know, PAX, like when the panels line up, there's a line to the right, the doors, the auditoriums is to the left. There's like that little hallway, little gap that you could walk to the back of the convention.
Yeah.
Me and the guys are just walking by, and I hear somebody go, "Hey, are you Tricky Mick?" And I turn around, like confused look on my face, like, "Yeah." He goes, "Dude, I recognize your voice. I listen to your show all the time." That blew my mind. That this guy recognized me just my voice. Didn't know my face because my face wasn't out there yet. But recognized me just from my voice. That is trippy. But I've been stopped a couple times.
Well, that's cool.
Um,
My closest one was when somebody my brother worked with was talking up Trophy Horse. They were talking video games and stuff and podcasts, and he started talking up Trophy Horse. And, oh, hey, one of the dudes is from Ohio. And my brother's like, yeah, that's my brother. And the dude's like, no. And he's like, no, seriously, that's my brother. And the dude, like, just kind of lost it.
Yeah, I mean, Donnie went the same year you went, and Donnie met somebody from Screw Attack. I don't know.
Was it Craig? Craig from Screw Attack?
That's right.
I think it was Craig. But we were walking down, and he's like, dude, that's Craig from Screw Attack. I'm like, okay. I don't watch Screw Attack, so I had no idea. And Donnie marked out so bad. And then we got Donnie to play VR games and, got him involved in all this stuff.
Act like you belong here, Donnie. Act like you're part of the group.
Oh, Yield, you weren't even there yet.
So this was when you picked him up first at the airport.
Yeah. All right. So I pick up Donnie, and we're staying around the airport because I think Yield was coming in like the next hour or two.
Yeah, I was like 2 hours behind Donnie.
So I pick Donnie up, and Donnie's hungry, so I take him to an authentic Italian restaurant. And he goes in and orders a salad and asks for French dressing.
Classic Donnie.
And I was like, Donnie, you can't do that. He's like, why not? I'm like, you're in an Italian restaurant. He goes, so? I'm like, it's disrespectful. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're in an Italian restaurant and you order French dressing? He goes, what do I got to order? I said, Italian dressing. He goes,
I don't think they care that much.
No, they don't. But I was just giving Donnie a hard time. And Donnie actually believed me. He's like, okay. It was fun. Yeah, but PAX is a good time. If you see me there, say hi. Just understand that if I'm somewhat rude to you, please don't take it personal.
It's because I'm a dick.
I swear.
I'm a New Yorker. It's natural.
Well, yeah, the New Yorker does come out of me. But understand that if you meet me at PAX, I'm not trying to be rude. If I don't stop and talk to you, I have a goal. But please, if you do see me, stop and say hi. And I will try my best to, spend a few minutes with you and whatnot. And I don't, this is egotistical. I'm not trying to be that way. I will stop and try to talk to you because I love meeting our fans and whatnot. But you got to understand I'm there for work. And I have appointments to go to, and I have things I have to be, and my schedule is booked.
Well, like I said, try to at least get to the floor at some point and enjoy the floor.
Yeah.
Other than just zigzagging to appointments.
Well, I mean, that's where you became, I think I got you to the appointment and started your love for World of Warships. That's where you got your hat.
Well, I spent a lot of time in the demo for the PC version of Warships, but that was when they had announced
they were announcing tanks, right?
They were bringing tanks to console.
Right. Okay.
Because I asked about, you going to bring warships to console? And they're like,
nope.
Well, we can't. No, not right now. And I'm like, oh, darn.
Yeah, PAX is where
PAX. And then 5 years later, they bring it to console. So
PAX is where I broke the news of The Last of Us Part 2. Found that out by accident. I also asked the Studio MDHR if Cuphead was ever coming to PlayStation. Like, nope, it's a Microsoft exclusive. You liars. All right, anyway, shout out to the fans, shout out to the listeners, shout out to everybody in the Twitch chat. Thank you very much. I'm going to close the show before we go on more of a rant. Love you all. Until next week, happy trophy hunting.
See ya.
Later.
I could go on about PAX.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.